messianic thing will go to the male, and it has even in mythological history. But you got to understand the roles of those particular things. You see what I'm saying? The male is only a vehicle to carry out the feminine energy. You understand what I'm saying? In the book of law, they say the scarlet woman, all power is given, which means Newt had it, which is the black dot, Raheru Kahudi. The Raheru Kahudi is the male warrior half, but he gets his energy from the battery. You got to understand the way things go. We see the car and we think the car is what's driving. The car is only a vehicle that is using both carbon from the battery and carbon from the goddamn gasoline, which is the feminine half, which is the most latent form. So when we say the messianic things, they're looking for the male because the male, that's just his department to carry out a certain deal. But if you understand the Egyptian thing, you have Heru, Horus, who basically is the male counterpart, that after he goes through this war, what happens? Maya is established. Maya precedes that. You understand where I'm coming from? So, it's a duality. You get where I'm coming from here when it comes to male and female? We say the Messiah and all, but we be thinking that that's such a great task. It's a subordinate role in the first goddamn place. You see what I'm saying? Because in the end can't be nothing but the unseen real, Newt, pure Newt, Maya. Check. So, we just been trained that that is the supreme messianic. That's only the bridge. He said, I am the bridge. You understand? I am the gate. I am a doorway. I am a way over troubled water, but not the actual paradise, which is the end all and be all, which is pure, unmanifest, unseen real, which is the feminine principle, just like the womb. Check. So you got to understand that. So, last summer, in the last 3 summers since 1994, the white boy started dealing with trying to counter incoming current energy. Now, the incoming current energy was put about by the Dogon of the Siggy ceremony in 1994 and the white buffalo and the actual Jupiter effect, but it all started with the Siggy ceremony. But as we know, to counter that, because we're not talking about physical, we're talking about metaphysical, to counter that, he comes out with Stargate, although the shit still works against him, because he's got to bring science to even try to fight the war. But Stargate does what? Kills Ra, which is actually Sirius, based on Swallow the Lubis. Stargate actually kills Ra, remember, in the movie. That's just his little way of trying to counter incoming current by trying to get the melanated people to believe that shit is still evil. And basically trying to uphold that same world domination that Christianity used to do. So that was 1994. 1995, he came out with Species. It also makes the whole alien thing, which is not necessarily alien more than it is extraterrestrial, which just means it's just beyond the terrestrial. Has nothing to do with the Roswell shit and all that, because a lot of that stuff is all fake. But we're talking about just messianic incoming Heru current. So he counters that with Species. Last summer, he had to get a little more technical, so he counters this particular incoming current with Independence Day. You see? With Independence Day. Each movie's got to have a black element in it. So he did Independence Day, and he also did The Arrival. You must understand how this man is dealing. When this man know he's losing the war, this man said, well, at least we try to cover all avenues and all bases. So he counters this with Independence Day and Arrival last year. This year, he's countering it again with Men in Black, which using the same hero from Independence Day to fight what? The scum of the universe. Which, with the scum of the universe is new. So the scum got to be black people. You see? So they're using this to counter so-called the scum of the universe. And basically this is the white boy's way to fight a war on the only kind of way that he knows how to when it comes to spiritual things. Because if he's fighting with spiritual things, that'll be paying homage to the black man. So he has to do it anyway. But either way, when we go see these movies, it ends up firing up against him because we always learn a lot more metaphysical things than he does the damage with fucking black people up. So that's very key that you understand that at this particular time. That they're using also the black man as the battery. So this time Will Smith is back with this particular thing. So they got the new, they can always find a nigga in Hollywood to do certain things to counter a certain amount of energy. And they are specifically worried about releasing the most powerful ones in the summer solstice. You see, the summer solstice. So you also have the winter solstice. They tried to do it with Mars attack, but unfortunately, Mars attack was still a all-out smoker movie. They can't win for losing. You know what I'm saying? They can't win for losing. Now, we understand in 1993 the white boy came out with Jurassic Park. We know that Jurassic Park was not necessarily about dinosaurs more than it was about DNA cloning. And he even had Jeff Goldblum, who was called a chaos scientist. And he wore all the black. So he's back this time. The most important person of it was the chaos scientist.
He has a black daughter in it.
He has a black daughter in this one. He got a black daughter. Ain't that a bitch? A Jew with a black daughter in this one. Now, ain't that interesting? Very key. A little black girl, little black daughter in the new lost world. But even though he was dealing with DNA cloning, all you got to do is substitute dinosaurs, which was an ancient specimen for the ancient black man and black woman, and you got it on what the whole movie is about. DNA cloning of ancient black people. The dinosaur is only a decoy shit, and you're supposed to put two and two together on what's really going on here. You see what I'm saying? Because my point is what's the fascination with a damn dinosaur? Yeah. Very key, and I'm going to get into some stuff later on to show you this exactly the science on what they're doing. They don't do nothing they don't put out a movie about. So I just gave you a part of the DNA cloning plus the dinosaur, which also represents the ancient black man, to explain some greater mystery when we get down into the lecture on what's really going on. So just keep that in mind when we're going to come back to that. But that's one of the keys on why they released that in 93 and in 97. The other movie that's dealing with the Book of Law and the Messianic Trinity and the Book of Law is the movie Batman and Robin. Now, which came out on the 20th, the summer solstice. Very key that you understand the release dates on these things, because this cracker is scared and shaking in his boots, and he got an all-out war. And let me explain this to you. Let me draw this for you. Has anybody seen the new symbol for the movie? Batman and Robin. Let me see. This is the symbol for the movie. Nah, show you what this is. This is the bat. In the middle, let me draw it this way. In the middle, if you see the symbol, they'll have another picture of Robin on the inside. That's very key that you understand this. This is the messianic fulfillment on what they're dealing with here. That's the symbol. Now let me explain what Batman and Robin is in this movie. Although they might have just made, they say that they did a lot of special effects more than did storyline, but it don't matter. The symbology alone is enough to carry the movie. Batman is a Bodun symbol for melanin. Bat, the bat. It represents the inner consciousness, which is, in the Book of Law, Harpacrot, Heru Par Krot, which is a form of Hadit, the inner child with the thumb in his mouth. which is the most potent part of the melanin, unmanifest. Robin, or the dove, or the falcon, or the hawk, any type of bird represents the manifested harpocross, which is Ra Heru Kahudi, two forms of the Christ. But when you have harpocross, which is the most latent part of the subconscious, Ra Heru Kahudi, which is the manifested form of the Christhood, those two together bring on Mayat. So the messianic word for both male and female, and the Christ and the manifestation of the balance and order is Har, Ma, Ku. Har, Heru, Ma, M-A, which is Mayat, and Ku, which is pyramid. It means the unity of both. Har, Ma, Ku, word made truth. Now, Batgirl, in the movie, they put a Batgirl. She represents Mayat, which is the Holy Trinity. Before the Messianic Trinity, it would also be Isis, which is the feminine, Osiris, which is the god of the perfect black, which is melanin, and Heru, which would be the manifestation or the Messianic part, is still the Holy Trinity. So Batman and Robin and Batgirl, which is the Messianic Trinity. Who are they battling? The Iceman, Mr. Freeze. That's the white man. And the white woman, Poison Ivy, which is more deadly. She's the goddamn Poison Ivy. She fucked up a lot of niggas with that smile and that docile type image. So they're battling Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. This ain't no shit that just, some shit that you just go in and say, or some stuff that you just reaching, all you reaching, nigga. No, this is real science. They don't do shit no more based on some, just some little old scribble, and we gonna put this in here and just make some stuff. This is the way they're dealing with stuff to fulfill prophecy. Just like the other Batman Forever with the Book of Law and the whole 9 yards was real kicking movie. This one is dealing with the Messianic Trinity, which you're talking about the Christ energy basically in 3 forms, fighting both the Iceman or Mr. Freeze, that's the Iceman, Caveman, and the Poison Ivy. You see what I'm saying? Which is the devil that learned how to groom herself to fool a bunch of people around the world and got everybody following her ass. Chinese bitches cutting their eyes and shit. You see. So it's very key that you understand that Messianic Trinity on what's going down. Another movie coming out this summer is Spawn. Spawn is about a black man. The cartoon is already on HBO on Friday nights at 12. About a black man who was working for the CIA or whatever. He in a way died and went to hell, but he was sent back. And he's got these extraordinary powers, although his face is all messed up and he got this mask on. But his whole thing is to get back with his sister Wanda. That's his life. To get back to the black woman, which is Wanda. But it's a black man in the movie. And so in the comic, now what happened was the guy Todd McFarlane. What happened, the reason why he made it black was this. White people are into what is called computer games now, role-playing games. So they have to make the comic figures of Batman and Robin and all these things. They gotta fit. They gotta be computer compatible. So the comic book world started suffering recently after years and years of being on top with devoted fans. So what happened was they did a survey and they found out that the top-selling comic books at this time was the black comic books, which started coming out in '92 and stuff. And you got a lot of black superheroes now. You see, the white boy said, well, we'll get the other stuff on computer, but when we want to go to the comic book store, we want to buy the black comics. So as a result, this cartoonist named Todd McFarlane came up with Spawn. Although you got several black comics out here, his, because he's a white boy, he's got the money, his become realized on film. But that's following up with an actual movie on what, August 4th or something? Or August 8th, which is Spawn, which he's saving the world. This black man, a black superhero, saving the world. Very key that you understand that. That's some very key stuff. So that will be out also. That will be out also this summer. This summer also. This also. So it's very key that you understand that. at the time. Like I said yesterday, I want to recap this and put this on the actual film, is that based on Richard Noon's book, Ice the Ultimate Disaster, they have now gone in and basically the recolonization or the actual killing of Africa is a reality now, which is also a ghost history that they're giving people at this particular time with the Zaire thing. Because in the funny that Zaire broke out, then the next thing you know, Congo broke out. And all this now, which is interesting because Liberia is back. Which is interesting because I think right in here, you know it is happening, you know what's happening when Clinton is done joined the thing. What the fuck is damn Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton talking about Africa? Both of them. Oh yeah, I went to Africa and so and so. They got this white ass hoe up in here looking like goddamn Betsy Ross talking about Africa. And here's a part. A helpful hand for Africa economy. Clinton's trade loan, it says, initiative aims to what's this word? To bolster opportunities for sub-Sahara. Now, whatever the deal is, all of a sudden Clinton is getting in on the game. You know some real deal shit was going with this particular part. Because you know this man, he ain't nobody to play with. Bill Clinton ain't nobody to play with. So it's very key that this is happening at this particular time. Now, Lyndon LaRouche was the first person that said, I ain't never seen no African with cancer until the white man came and dumped a whole bunch of goddamn sunglasses over there one summer. And he said, yep, about 2 years later, I seen niggas coming down the damn thing with cancer. Coming down the canoe and down this river with cancer. So Lyndon LaRouche saying, and in this particular part, I believe it's in this particular article coming from his subject, LaRouche was right about the genocide in Africa. The date, May 29th, 1997. And basically, I think his combination of what is really going on here, this is coming off the internet, is that they're trying to get a substance to get off the planet. And this is what the cracker's saying. So basically, this bears witness to the whole melatonin type thing that we've been talking about. He's saying that they're trying to get a substance or some type of thing to get off the planet. And in this particular internet article. But that's very key that you understand that. But now, what's his name is joining this shit at this particular time? Bill Clinton. Very key that you understand this. Now, this is the part that I'm real happy that is the fulfillment of prophecy. And that is the fulfillment of prophecy. First of all, before I get into that, I don't want to leave nothing out. So first of all, let me go through a little more hard copy first before I get into that particular part. Okay. I don't want this little pad here because I didn't put it in the main lecture. And there's certain things that just come to me spiritually, and I have to write them down on, keep a pen and write stuff down as I get it and all. First of all, they are still dealing with basically 98% of the transplants now from the transplants that white people are getting now is all coming from animals. 98%. First of all, they can't use the black transplants because the melanin kills them. It's too much. It's like an overdose. Like if they take too many melatonin pills, the wrong dosage, it will kill them. So what you think about a melanated heart? That fuck them right on up. They can't use other white transplants because white people are mutating beyond the realm of what they are, so therefore the organs reject even faster because white people are mutating, basically, based on the sun and everything else, so they can't use that. So basically the only thing that they can use is animals, because an animal's diet is enough to still sustain him because he don't eat certain shit that he ain't born to eat. You know what I'm saying? So they use a lot of animal transplants, maybe mainly in the 8 area, which is very key. So that whole shit that went down with those 8s that burned up in Philly last year, was all based on that. They was breeding millions of them for transplant. So the spirit just came and burnt down the whole ship. You see what I'm saying?
They got the money to build a new one, too.
Huh?
They got the money to build a new one.
Yeah.
They
So
had another report that they just put out about
right. You see, because those.
about genetic connection with the pig. They put the organs in pigs with a human gene in it and grow the organ, and then they transplant it to probably white people.
Yeah. So they're dealing with the animal transplant real big now, real big. That's the real key. With that particular part, they're dealing with that real big at the particular time. So that's real key. Like I said, now I told you that both Richard Pryor and Muhammad Ali was the two great voices of the 1970s, and both of them now fucked up and can't even talk. All was based on the white man. Well, it was interesting because every now and then the Spirit will give you further data. So I was dealing with the information on Muhammad Ali and how the white people fed him rat poison and that whole 9 yards when he was going to these hospitals. And now he's, and like I said, anytime they want to hurt you, they give you this lie about Parkinson's disease, because it did the same thing to my aunt. They did the same thing to her, and now they cut one of her veins, and she's shaking now. And the doctor say it's Parkinson's disease. And by her loving the white man so much, she believed that shit. But her own best friend told my brother, said, that motherfucker lying. He said she went in one day, she came out the next week shaking. He said, ain't no Parkinson's disease. They fucked her up by it. He said, putting them wires and shit all up your arm and stuff when you are, because she a dialysis patient. He cut the wrong vein, the wrong nerve. And their excuse for all that is Parkinson's disease. So I know, and so now they got a lawsuit on their hand, because my brother, that motherfucker like, hell, I'm going to get me some money, because, you know, she my legal guardian. Now, he a year younger than me, and he's the legal guardian. And she left him everything in her will, so he like, goddamn it, I'm getting paid. So I'm suing these motherfuckers. She can love the white man, but I'm the legal guardian, so I'm suing. So, what the deal is, they use that lie. Now, it's interesting, I was in the store, I got a friend that I used to work with, and this black guy, and I go around the store and just shoot the breeze, and I was in there telling him about Muhammad Ali and how the man ain't got no disease, how he is a government project on which they destroyed, like they did him and a bunch of other black people, but especially him and Richard Pryor. Those were the two great voices after the conscious thing shut down in the 60s. You know, although you did have consciousness, it came through the entertainment, like the OJs, Curtis Mayfield, you understand what I'm saying, and different people like that. They did bits and pieces. They didn't do, it wasn't as prevalent as the actual conscious movement, but they did bits and pieces. But when it came to Muhammad Ali and them, they were real boisterous at that particular time. So they messed them up big time. So let me tell you what happened here. I'm in the store, and I'm telling them about Muhammad Ali. A brother steps in, and the brother said, I heard the white woman say in the 70s that was going to happen. Now, you remember on the movie The Greatest? Remember he made the movie The Greatest in the 70s? And they had a dialogue about this woman was following Muhammad Ali around. Remember the woman was following him, white woman was following him around. And he was like, what you following me around? She said, I'm following you around one day until they cut you or they do whatever and put you in the grave. Well, they gave the movie version of that, and she said a few things, but the brother said, the brother came in and was talking, he said the real conversation that she said with him. She said, Ali, you know that big mouth you got? That same mouth you got one day you ain't going to be able to speak out of that damn mouth. And my man Juju, he's very advanced too. He can go back in time and pick up on conversations that were said in private amongst people. And so he said, yeah. He said, I heard a conversation between Muhammad Ali and Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad was saying, look, You could talk all that junk when you was a pro-black man. Now you a multi-millionaire. You one of the highest paid ever. He said, now you can't be going up getting millions of dollars from these white people and talking that shit. These white people gonna fuck you up. So you can't serve two masters now. You can't be talking all that shit and getting millions and millions of dollars off them. Them white people gonna do something to you. And he gave him a warning like that. But the woman said, the actual conversation that the woman told him, she said, you know that mouth you speak out, that big mouth you speak out, one day you're not going to be able to speak out of that mouth. Now, she was not a prophet or nothing like that, or she was psychic. She was telling them, look, she was telling them that we're going to fuck you up. You see what I'm saying? We're going to mess you up. So that's very key, and that actually happened. That actually happened. And so, if you want to understand, if you want to get the background on this, rent the movie The Greatest. Although they didn't give the actual conversation, but they do give this woman, this crazy woman would go to all his fights, this rich white woman. And she was one of the women that was in on what they was going to do to him. And she was like the agent that was monitoring his ass. And later on, it became real. Now, let me give you this particular information on what's actually going down, which to me is probably some of the greatest prophecy fulfilled. Now, to let you know I'm not bullshitting, I'm going to send the June 1st tape up. The June 1st tape, I did a tape in Atlanta on June the 1st. I'm going to send that tape to Philadelphia because it was almost as if they was listening to the conversation that I was having in the actual tape because it's playing out the same way. Now, let me go into this history so you can understand what the hell is going on. And so you can understand what's going on. First of all, let me see how I have this lined up. I want to give it to you the same way I got this thing lined up. Okay, yeah. I think I'll give it to you this way. Remember, I think I don't know who has the tape. The Sister Delilah might have the tape. You got the tape. The one, I think, I tell you what, you did the tape. You got the tape. I think it's the tape on something about the Enochian something. Enochian Notes of Yakub. I think that's the one. Now, in that tape, I dealt with the Ethiopian Book of Enoch. The Ethiopian Book of Enoch in that tape. Now, all Book of Enoch are from Ethiopia. So anyone you get, it's the same Ethiopian Book of Enoch. The only other book that didn't come from Ethiopia on the Book of Enoch is one coming out of Yugoslavia. In Hungary. And it's some shit. I'm up in the metaphysical bookstore. This sister came in. She looked like Delilah. You know what I'm saying? But her hair was straightened, so therefore I had to look real hard because, I know it's a white woman talking, Now we kind of got a little reddish a little bit, so. But she had an accent. Otherwise, when she got up on me, I could tell she was black. I said, oh, you a sister, and she was talking at this accent, though. She said, I'm from Hungary. What the hell? I said, did you move to Hungary? She said, no. She said, there's a whole black element in Hungary and Yugoslavia. I said, what the hell? She said, yeah, I'm black. I'm a Moor. And she was telling me the history of the Moors and how she said, the whole black. I said, you'll never know it based on these crackers. And she was telling me that. But I was saying that because they got a Book of Enoch also in Hungary and also Yugoslavia, the Slavic Book of Enoch. But most of the Book of Enoch you can get, the bigger volume is by H.J. No, R.H. Charles. The Hartek book is a different thing. That's not the Book of Enoch. That's the Secret Keys of Enoch. That's different. The guy, the number one seller of Kessinger's publication, which is the out of print books The number one seller in the country is right here in Philadelphia. Your boy, Isaac at the Reading Terminal. And they have the actual Book of Enoch. The one that I'm going to give you, I'll give you the chapter number. This is a specialized one coming from from Cambridge. But the other one, I have the other version, but that's the one you want to get. That one, the one that sells downtown in the Reading Terminal. It costs what about $40? R.H. Charles is the one you want. The Book of Enoch, the one you want is the R.H. Charles, $35 or $40, that big one. Because because that one is the prophecy. Now, when I was here in that Enochian physics, I read you a passage out of this book, and I'm getting ready to read this passage now. And this is prophecy being fulfilled. Because I got the tape in Atlanta, Georgia, on June the 1st. I got the tape in Atlanta when I did a lecture on June the 1st, and I said that these things are getting ready to happen. And these things are getting ready to happen. The Spirit revealed to me what was going to happen on Malcolm X's birthday, because they had a Malcolm X festival in Atlanta. They had one in Atlanta. And I don't usually go to it, but this day I went to it, and man, people was up there, and they was very happy because somebody came to town with some good damn news. Let me explain this shit to you. Let me explain this to you. And this is prophecy being fulfilled. In the book of Enoch, chapters 11 to 13, but chapter 11 to 13 in the book of Enoch. Do me a favor. I need to go up in my room. Y'all got a little green case. I think it's right there on the thing and all. I got to get some vitamin C. I'm sweating and all, and you know. And I you know. But anyway, this was revealed to me at the time of Malcolm's birthday, and something kept telling me. Something said, go to the actual festival. And when I went to the actual festival, see, we had a great, big, huge Afrocentric community in Atlanta. But after the figure ceremony in '94, something happened and everybody dispersed. And although you still have consciousness because it's a major city, the community has never been close-knit like it was in '94. But when I went to the actual, conference, well, the actual celebration, everybody was walking around happy. And I said, wait a minute, because I kept telling my girl, I said, you know, we need to go here today, because we was on our way to the movies. You know, because that's what I do. I go and it was something I had to go to the cipher. But I said, something kept telling me all day, man, you need to turn around and go to the Malcolm X Festival. Turn around and go. And when we went, I met up with Juju. He was down there selling the guy I told you, this great psychic. But the people were very happy. And was walking around, they say, no, they say, we got a meeting to go to tomorrow. They got some great news, and we got a meeting to go to tomorrow. You know, this is some vitamin C, some vitamin E with C and some seafood or whatever. And they say they were very happy. But what happened is this. Let me explain this to you. The guy, Dr. Brock, that's his name, Father Reparation, was in town. Okay. And just remember that when I give you this particular information. Let me just take this. Now, was it Dr. Brock? Father of Reparation. Now, what I'm talking about here is on chapters 11 and 13 in the book of Enoch. And this is what it says. And Enoch went to Azazel. Now, Azazel in here is equivalent to Yakub. Or he's equivalent to the evil portion. Maybe Set Typhon in the ancient Egyptian thing. Same thing. It's Set Typhon in Egypt. You got to trace the mythology wherever. And it says Azazel. Now, this is the Ethiopian book of Enoch. They couldn't put this one along with the New Testament. Number one, it's coming from Ethiopia. Number one, it's older than the damn New Testament. And number two, it's so precise on who the people going to die up in here until it was so obvious they couldn't manipulate the scriptures. So they say, okay, we can't put that in the Old Testament. You see what I'm saying? We can't put that in the Old Testament. Because remember, the Old Testament was written 700 years after the death of so-called the high priest of ancient Egypt that they called Moses, which was the priest of Amun-Ra, Musa, whatever that motherfucker name was, a traitor king who hauled ass with Akhenaten. But anyway, this particular Enoch, the book of Enoch. Now, Enoch is the Egyptian Tahuti. So we know that even though this is from Ethiopia, they probably got it by way of pillaging the Library of Alexandria or whatever. Because the Library of Egypt did not just consist of meta scriptures. The Library of Egypt had writings from Samaria. It had writings from all over the ancient black world that was housed in these Egyptian temples, because they didn't view themselves as different people as we think they did. So now in here it says that this particular Enoch, who is Tahuti at this time, which is a great warner, is talking to Azazel. And he said, you will never have peace. He's talking to this particular, in this case, this is in the future, because it tells you this particular book is taking place basically now. So in mythology, it's talking about currents going on, one evil current and one positive current, which is also in black and white people. And it says right here that Enoch says, you will never, he said that you will never have peace. A severe sentence will come out against you, and you should be bound. So this is eschatology in the future. And you will neither have rest, nor mercy, nor granting of any petition, because of the wrong you have taught, and because all the works of blasphemy and wrong and sin, which you have shown the sons of men, which is us. Because we are in this particular country, basically, with not a mind of our own. And everything, even the way we think, is what's been taught to us, indoctrination. So it says that you're going to have problems because you have shown certain wrongs and iniquities to the sons of men. And I went and spoke to them together. And this is the key right here. This is the key right here. I went and spoke to them together, and they were afraid, and fear and trembling seized them. And fear and trembling seized them, which means they're scared. But just like the book Secret of the Andes by Brother Phillips said, which was 1954, which I thought was kind of profound for a white man to say that the most evil country on the earth at that particular time in 1956 was the United States. And at that time, the only people who was calling this country evil was the Nation of Islam, maybe Noble Drew Ali and whatever. But for a white person in the middle of Ozzie and Harriet, that's amazing. But he said it, his words verbatim, in the last days, that these people will be scared and trembling. But yet they must go on and maintain the status quo, that their reign will be forever. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the same thing. That they'll keep on building buildings and stuff, and make you think that their reign is going on forever, but yet they'll be trembling. And it says, shaking in their book, so they say these particular people who are the ruling people, this is the ruling people in this book, the ones that's ruling the world, they were trembling and they were together. And fear seized them. Now look at this. And trembling seized them. They asked me, which Tahuti or whatever is a divine recorder, recording laws. So in this case, thinking up here now, the only thing they have to do is to make a certain gesture, or to make a certain gesture, or make a certain plea. It's the same of asking the Spirit, other than going to a certain figure and asking. Only it's the world scheme thing. All they got to do is speak it into existence. You understand? Because that's how this war is playing out. So they came and asked me. They said, they came and asked me to write a record and a petition that they may receive forgiveness, and to take the record and petition to the Lords of heaven. So that means the only thing they got to do is make a certain plea or a certain goodwill type of move. And they, and it says, and for they themselves were unable to speak, And they did not raise their heads and their eyes to heaven out of shame of their sins, and that they had been commanded. Now, what they condemned. Excuse me, that they had been condemned. What they mean by they're not being able to speak? They're talking about the wool being pulled from under their eye, over their eyes, and they know that ultimately they can't hide from the damn spirit realm. Now, and I wrote the record for them in the petition and their supplication as in regard to their spirit and deeds in each of them, and in regard to what they asked. And mainly they should obtain, it says, absolution and forbearance. And when I sat down by the waters of Dan on the southwest of Hermon, and they say Mount Hermon, they're talking about a spiritual place where our energy or a system later on reaches to a certain plateau. It's called Mount Hotep, Mount Olympus, Mount Hermon, Mount of Olives, Mount Manu, you see, Mount Zion. All that's talking about the earth going to a particular realm. As a matter of fact, the Mount Olympus, they have the Olympic Games during that particular time, which is all relevant to what happened in Atlanta. And I read out the record and their petition until I fell asleep. Now, this is what it says here. It goes on to say, be sure to know, it goes on to say that the petition was rejected from the Lord of heaven. It was rejected. That's what it says. Now, this is the point I want to get to right now. I need somebody to go up. You go up in the go up in the restroom and see that I leave that ankh on the sink, in the one in the middle, right there in the middle. I don't know. I might have, if it's not there, it's still in the room though. But this is what I want to get to at this particular time. And I'll wait till Delilah get back because I want her to hear this also. I don't want to send nobody out because this is prophecy being fulfilled. Now, they talk about these same prophecies in the Bible and other things, but they only see the thing about the Bible in places like that. They only give you a fragment. So they might have one sentence, whereas in some ancient material they would have had a whole elder went into it in depth. And what I mean by that is, take for instance, we know that at the temple of Isis of Philae, they recorded some stuff called Gnosticism, which is later-day Egyptian Coptic. The Greeks got that, and they had all this particular information. Later on, the Romans copied that and made a new Christianity out of what they got out of Gnosticism. But because they copied it and they made what is called subsequent or something else later on from something greater, they might have one or two passages that explain something, and people write books and books and books with the one or two passages, but their whole explanation of it is in an earlier material. So, in the Gnostic scriptures, especially the Apocalypse of John, they will go through 1,000,000 years of history in 6 pages. Something that the Bible fails to go to in the whole book. That's because the Bible can't go through that. Okay, well, it's probably in one of my things and all. So, they will go through 1,000,000 years of history. That's because it's more authentic. It's the original gnosis, which means knowing an original knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So the book of Enoch, even though they will talk about certain things in the Bible and all, the book of Enoch or earlier material will give you the whole thing on what went down. That's why I say even though the Bible, you can go into the Bible and find certain things, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. You need to get the ancient text. You see what I'm saying? The ancient text, because it has a little more, it goes into stuff a lot more detail. So now, in the book of Enoch, they're talking about these people that's scared and they go to the spirit world or they're making gestures. You have to go and take the ancient stuff and bring it into this time and see exactly what they're talking about. Are they talking? You got to bring it out, even though it's mythology, you got to bring it out of the mythological stage, but it's physics, but it's explaining stuff now. And then you got to see how the prophecy fulfills based on what's actually happening in the government. So anyway, what it's saying is there's some people that are scared and they're begging. Now, this is prophecy being fulfilled because I said this back in March. Now, In here, the white man has gone on this new crusade of apologizing. Now let's go into this thing, which is the fulfillment of this same book of Enoch. Now, unfortunately for him, when the apology starts in the book of Enoch, it is at the end. It is like a couple of days off of him getting his ass off the planet. So the apology, and when we say a couple of days, we talk about we're in the hour. Anytime the crackers start begging, you see, it's at the end. You see. So now, let's deal with this. He started the apology with the Pope standing up. When was that? Was that 96? 96. The Pope stood up and started apologizing for slavery and suggested that the other countries do that too. So the apology, that was the first one. But it started a little bit before that. Do you know that the movie Malcolm X was a form of apology? A movie, even though it was wasn't the best movie made, it's still, Malcolm X was a good ass movie. I enjoyed the shit. Let's not be bullshitting. But my point is, for the mere fact that they wouldn't have been able to get a movie like that made 20 years ago, it was an apology. And I propose that a lot of these movie makers, they bring them in just so they can make these movies. It was an apology. Just as Panther, the movie Panther, was an apology. Okay, it's the white man's version of an apology. Let's be reasonable here. We talking about the cracker. For the mere fact you even getting something done. An apology. Okay? All right. The Medgar Evers story. It just had Ghost in Mississippi. Apology. Hold on, I got him. Rosewood. They first paid the people off, a little bit of reparations, and they made a movie. Apology. Apology. 1995, which was right before the Pope, the Southern Baptist stood up, convention in Atlanta, came up and apologized for slavery. An apology. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. Although it was on their own terms, you're supposed to put two and two together. The Los Angeles CIA drug admitting to putting drugs, that's an apology. They ain't apologizing to you. They just have to put it out there. You see what I'm saying? They're apologizing to the spirit realm, which going, and they're doing it through you. Now, how you act to it is your own business. You see, but it's an apology. The Army, Congressional Honors. Remember the Congressional Medal of Honors? They came and gave them old people. That's an apology. 2 months later, a month later, the Navy came out and apologized for that cook that ran up on the ship and shot down 7 airplanes in the South Pacific. And a couple other people we didn't even know about. That's an apology. Okay? That's an apology. Let's keep on going. The movie Glory. Even though it was 1990, all this stuff is in the same realm. The movie Glory. Most people didn't even know black people even fought in the Civil War. That's an apology. The Jackie Robinson celebration. It's an apology for shutting black people out before 1947. It's an apology. You got to understand how the shit is. What? Yeah, for what?
For the baseball.
For the baseball thing. See? Apology. Mm-hmm. The Christian Coalition. About a month ago, this Christian Coalition, conservative right-wing group, came in and was going in with the actual preachers and helping them. That's a form of apology. The burning down of the churches, then apologizing for the burning down of the churches and helping build the shit back, that's an apology. See, not only do they do apologies, they make apologies. Let me explain the science on that. Show you how good these reparations are going. It's a whole, it's not even a science, it's like a movement afoot. And it's so crafty that you don't even know it's becoming commonplace that they apologize. One other reason why they had to start calling it the N-word, since dual things they're dealing with stuff, they work night and day. Tuskegee Airmen movie, 1995. Apology. Tuskegee Experiments. They made the movie, Miss Elba's Boy, in February. They apologized, what, a month ago. Look. Show you the document. This is a sad-ass picture, too. Let's get this picture. Hold on. Sad picture. You know, but here you go. Here it is. This is in the Atlanta one, but you've seen it. Black man hugging the president. You know, ass all laid out with VD. But he hugging the president. But he an old man, you know. Niggas love, the old people love the white man more than the white man loves himself, you know. But he old, you understand that shit. Naturally, this is his greatest thing to hug President Clinton. We got some young niggas to do that shit, like fucking LL Cool J and all them niggas dancing at the inauguration. LL, one leg, pant leg motherfucker, dancing and rapping to the guy with the president. Modern day buck dancing and step procession. And fucking the first year he won, your people Arrested Development, all Mr. Conscious, Arrested Development, dancing and singing for the damn president. Niggas and flies. One spread filth and one spread lies. The more I hang around niggas, the more I like flies. Look. So the apology, okay? Let's go on. Got a lot more. Martin Luther King, that whole thing, the young boy going to visit James Earl Ray ass in the prison. Although we know James Earl Ray ain't killed him, but this ain't no damn current event. So new. That should have been visited that motherfucker back in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? But it's an apology. The government get them to do that. Then they test the gun. We waiting on the results for that. An apology. You got to understand how this is going. Now look. Look at this. The Texaco thing. Let me show you how this shit, it's much more advanced than you think. Now, come on. They've been talking shit about niggas since niggas been in this planet, on this, been amongst, right, since crackers been on the planet. Now, all of a sudden, some damn tape's gonna mysteriously be found. Get the fuck out of here. This cracker man is killing niggas wholesale. I done located the train track where they putting niggas on every night. Nobody in the whole town don't know about it. But yet a motherfucker gonna find a cassette. You believe that shit if you want to. Like they put stuff on TV, every time they got news, it automatically goes to TV. Yet you can't get a good report if somebody hit your car. You know what I'm saying? And rape your grandmama, it might not get on TV if no money involved. But yet you think that this shit got on. This was some government stuff in the first place, and the Texaco selling out of port is an apology. Because this crack is on an advanced level on how he's doing it. Look, the man ain't got nothing to lose. He gonna die anyway. But he figure, well, hell, it won't be for not trying. So he'll say, well, I've done everything. You see, I'm gonna put a tape in. You know. Okay. Now, Texaco thing. Apology. Chevron just got in some mess with black people. Apology. The Tiger Woods shit. Now, come on. How dumb can we be? Here goes goddamn Homeboy Country Club, white people. These people discuss strategies on how they gonna kill 1 million niggas, and all of a sudden some shit gonna get out the country club based on some soul food comments where it's commonplace to make fun of niggas. You know what I'm saying? Come on, that's some bullshit. That's all a part of the apology. They're doing it systematically in every aspect of life. So they've been making fun of niggas all these years. They do a public apology. They create the scene to go in there and apologize. They've been making They've been corporate people been fucking over black people all these years, so they make the incident from Texaco to come in and apologize. Remember, everything on TV is orchestrated, you understand what I'm saying, and choreographed. None of it is real. We live in an age where that shit you see on the New Age stuff like Running Man and all these New Age movies like Free Jack, that's a real good one, where the corporation run everything. And Handmaid's Tale, movie Handmaid's Tale and Free Jack, where the corporation and everything is censored. That's the kind of thing we live in, because the BBC did a whole thing on censorship, and America got mad. You see, that's all a part of the actual apology. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on to some more apologies. Let's go on to some more apologies. They had a celebration 2 years ago for Richard Pryor, apologizing for giving that nigga a lobotomy in 1980. You see, giving him a lobotomy when he went into the hospital, gave him a lobotomy. Never been funny. Next thing you know, he's shaking. All fucked up, you know. They're getting ready to make a movie to apologize to him, using Damon Wayans as playing Richard Pryor. Very key how you understand this. Look, the apology of Muhammad Ali. That's the apology. Then the next thing you know, he's going on a book tour saying the white man all right. That's the acceptance. We could always get niggas to accept. You just couldn't get the beast to apologize for nothing. Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. They made the movie When We Were Kings. Some shit went down in 1994. Remember the movie they made back in February, When We Were Kings? The 1974 Zaire fight, the Rumble in the Jungle. They made the movie, you know, there was the footage and all, 74, they released it just now. Then what they do, they apologize, they give the motherfuckers Academy Award for the shit. That's the white man's top honor. Just like the Congressional Record of Honor. You see, first of all, oh, this nigga reaching, no. That's too many damn coincidences. You know, 2 is a coincidence, 99, that shit is real. It's the movement afoot. We'll go into the science. It's the fulfillment of prophecy. Okay, let's go on. Let's see some more apologies. Wait a minute, I got a few. Let's see, I got a few. Yeah, let me just give you this. Come on. Show you what I'm talking about. All right, I told you I had gone to the Malcolm X Festival, and which that was on the 19th, that Monday. They had the festival on that Saturday, which was the 17th. At the festival, they were signing people up, and they had announced that Dr. Brock was in town because they had some real good news. And it was all about going to the meeting the next day on the 18th. Now, this is the fulfillment of prophecy, because I did it on the 1st. This particular information came out that led up to what happened last week with Bill Clinton, but we're going to get into that. Let me explain this. The same day on the 18th, the Atlanta Journal and Constitution ran this article, Torn by Racism. Can a Southern president bring the racists together? Now, you got to understand how stuff is planned. First of all, he didn't make the announcement until last week. So why is it 2 weeks before they run this paper? Can a Torn by Racism, can a Southern president bring the racists together? Bring the racists together. Now look at this. Try to understand this. Then, all of a sudden, this is what happened. The Spirit came to me that Sunday, and the Spirit whispered in my ear, which is nothing but I'm tapping into my own Akashic records, which you all have detailed files. If you learn how to use it, or it just recognize you even got the shit. Because our shit is more advanced than just the way data is stored based on the crackers' way of doing shit. So, I was up there and it hit. I said, wait a minute. Okay. They holding back. They got one last plan for black people that they setting it up right now. And the Spirit say they're going to pay niggas reparations soon. And Dr. Brock was coming to Atlanta because they had some good news, because what I'm telling you is the consensus at that Malcolm X festival, everybody was happy because what they were saying was he was coming in saying, look, all bullshit aside, we got secret meetings with these crackers weekly. And I can't come in and just basically tell you outright, but them motherfuckers done told me I got it. We got the goddamn money. They get ready to pay niggas' asses off. And that's what the meeting was about, the same day that this ran, the same time. Now, this is the key. This is the key. They're real scared, which is this. Number one, it's good for the economy because they figure, hell, if they pay niggas off, they're going to get the shit back in damn a week. Can you imagine? See, first of all, you're talking about a people, not only are people consumers, you're talking about a people that's shut out from society. Actually, it's a slave subculture. That's all this shit was. And you mean to tell me you're going to give a motherfucker some money like that? Nobody want to hear nothing. You see? So it's good for the economy. They're going to get it back. You understand what I'm saying? Plus, they print it all up. They got enough money to outfit us 10 times over, so it's going to be minimum wage. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care how much they give you. Even if they gave $100,000 to each body, that's minimum wage. And spiritually, there can't be no price put on slavery. But this is the key. They're going to start paying people off. Now, this is the key. Can you imagine that the conservative element that they, with starting in 1980 with Reaganomics, was that some mythological type foolishness that white men was mad at black people because we was receiving too much. You heard that before? Reverse discrimination. Now, what can you say if they don't even want to give a nigga some regular old affirmative action or whatever? What do you think gonna happen when they give these niggas this damn money? That's race riot, jihad. Straight up. Because the militia's been telling you straight up, race riot is inevitable. Can you imagine? Here goes some crackers, trailer park niggas been in this country, been fed a superiority complex that they are more elite than people, and you gonna go around and give the coons some money? And motherfucking coons passing by you in a motherfucking Jaguar? You know what I'm saying? Some crackers get jealous of you just having a motherfucking nice suit. What do you think you driving that fast motherfucking Jaguar? Before they say, oh, he's just a dope dealer. But what about